brownish suit, and they're like, go to hair, they're gonna cut your hair. And I'm like, whoa, what is this? They're like, and then the lady goes, they're gonna cut your hair, and then you're gonna be in a Christopher Nolan movie. And I go, okay. Yep, absolutely. Where is the building? Where's the building? So then I walk over to the building after I get fitted. They cut my hair super short, like stupid short. Like, it makes my head look fatter. Like, my head went from like a cute apple to like fat watermelon that fell on the floor. And I'm just like, whatever. And then they shaved me, and like, none of the shadows are doing anything good for, my jaw or face or anything like that. So then a couple days go by, and then they go, hey, all right, they give me a call time, and it's out in Santa Anita, like out in the middle of like nowhere, near the racetrack, driving, call time's 5 a.m. And so they're like, you're gonna get your script as soon as you arrive on set. So I go, oh, good. What is happening? So I get there, and I am the king of breakfast at at set. Oh my God. By the way, I'm breaking the NDA by telling you guys this. But the same way that I was psyched to see like little hand sanitizer things or like masks, I'm like scrambled eggs, bacon, and just in case I see a dog, I'm gonna keep one in my pocket. Just here, buddy. Any food they got, I'm like loading up. So my fat face is getting fatter, and they shaved me again with a straight razor because that's all they had. I guess that's all they had there at the time, in the 1930s. So we go. They bring us to set. I get dressed, and I'm like pretty psyched. The first scene is inside, and they hand me the script. There are no less than 8 ADs, assistant directors, just like on set, just like checking everything. They hand me the script, and they're like, "You're gonna do this line to this character," and I'm like, "Okay, great." And they just showed it to me for as long as I could just look at it, and they're like, they either know that I'm a sneaky son of a bitch, or they're not trusting anybody with the script. So like, just look at this, then we're gonna take it away from you. And I go, okay, great. So the first scene is at this, it's like a communist party that Cillian Murphy comes into, and he meets Florence Pugh there. And I have a word with Florence Pugh where I'm the FBI agent, and I'm like, hey, do you know where you are? And I'm like, why did I audition as a hostage? Just so they knew they could fuck with me? Just so they knew that it was like, this guy's gonna be obedient. This guy's gonna do whatever it takes. And I'm like, fucking hell. So I do the scene, I lean over her, I'm like, do you know where you are? And it's very, very tight. And I'll tell you about the cameras in a little bit. So then we go outside, hours pass. Lunch, dinner. I had a little second dinner, but just off of the stuff that's in my pockets. So we're outside, and this is in the aftermath of the Alec Baldwin thing, and they're like, hey, we're going to introduce you to the armorer. You're going to have a gun on you. And I go, fuck yes. Yes. So I've got a partner, and 2 FBI agents, essentially nameless, FBI agent 1, FBI agent 2. But then we're debating whether it's the waist or the holster thing, and he's like trying to be big time. So, my partner, this guy, his name is like one of those like forgettable names like Brad or Trevor or some shit like that. Well, a guy you don't want your best friend to have sex with. So he's like, I can do this. Like, I'll take this strap, like around here, and he puts it on backwards, and I'm just like, whatever, dude, I'm not talking to you. So I got this gun around here, and they're like, all right, in this scene, you're gonna be taking down the license plates of everybody because they're inside the Communist Party. Cillian Murphy's gonna ride up. You're gonna make eyes with him, and then you're gonna have a stare off, and then he's gonna go into the party. But it's the first time that he knows he's being tracked by the FBI. And so, I forget the Christopher Nolan's DP's name, but he's this like big Eastern European guy. Danny, do you know his name? No, he is this big Eastern European guy, and they're using IMAX film cameras that are hundreds of fucking pounds. And so he's like picking it up, just like fucking whatever. So he's picking this up, and then just like, looking at what the shot's gonna be. And then, boom, first time I see Christopher Nolan. I ran into 8 of his 80s, first time I see Christopher Nolan. And this is like the Batman guy, Dark Knight, Tenet, everything. And like, I don't know, if he played football, he's like 20 yards away from me, which is far, but not that far. Like I could throw a football to him. He doesn't look like he wants to play football. He's wearing a three-piece suit, chugging coffee. His thermos is like this big, like huge thermos. And he like puts it inside of his vest, like when he's not drinking coffee. And he gets like a PA to give him coffee refills. And he's got these eyes that are like sunken in to his head. And he doesn't know that I'm a comedian. And I look at him, and he looks at me, and he kind of takes a moment to like take me in and see if he can take me seriously. And I'm telling you, these eyes are sunken in so you can barely see the color of his eyes. And I'm just like shitting my pants. I'm in a suit from the 1930s that's pretty much all wool. I'm outside, I am drenched in sweat. My back, my butt, bidet. That's how much I was sweating. So then, I'm like, holy shit, there he is. So then I'm like, trying to like look professional, and I'm like, I'm not trying to keep my hand off the gun because I don't think anybody would be doing that. And this is in the wake of the Alec Baldwin thing, like, holy shit. So I look at the pocket, inside the pocket of the jacket, oh my God, why am I forgetting this? I find a matchbook, and then I see F. Whitaker. So I got my phone, we took a break, and I go to my phone, and I look up Forest Whitaker films. And this is the suit that I was wearing was recycled by Universal, and it was the same suit that Forest Whitaker wore when he played Charlie Parker in the movie Bird. And I'm like, holy shit, that's pretty sick, right? And also like, was he getting fatter or was he skinny? Was he current day Forest Whitaker? Like, I need to get to the gym. But like, holy shit, that's crazy. Like no one can take this away from me. Like, this is amazing. So, break's over. They were adjusting some lights because they took over an entire street, 1930s cars, and the first coverage was going to be Cillian Murphy. And so my partner's in our 30s car, and then I'm outside with a notebook, gun here, that I eventually have to like reference so he knows that I'm serious. Then I've got a notepad in hand. I'm walking, and just for his eye line. And Cillian Murphy, great actor, but he can't drive a 1930s car. So the car keeps breaking down and idling, and it's a manual car. So like, he's like, he's like a little guy. And so he like hops out of the car, he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Like him and Christopher Nolan have a literally 15-minute discussion while everyone's just tense as fuck. Like, what the fuck's gonna happen? So they eventually get this guy who knows how to drive 1930s cars because they need the tracking shot of him driving up and essentially parallel parking. So they're like, all right, you're gonna go and be his feet. So they get a guy, and I'm like, man, this is how movies are made? Fuck! They find a guy who, there were a couple drivers on set who own like these big hangars of like amazing cars and stuff like that. And so he was like, hey, we're gonna need you to be Cillian's feet for this because we need a close-up of him driving in. And so the guy goes, okay, this is big fella, like bigger than me, like 6'3", and like a little heavier, and he's like, he crouches down in the passenger seat, and I can't see him, but I imagine he's just like, and Cillian Murphy, Peaky Blinders, The Scarecrow, whatever, is just like, hee. I picture his feet just like, hee. So they eventually, that's after 4 tries, and I'm like, all right, cool, we're cool on set, everything's great. Then flip around, it's time for my coverage. And Christopher Nolan's eyes feel closer, and he's physically closer, he's 10 yards away from me. I'm looking at him, just trying to keep my shit together. 3 ADs come up to me, and they're like, hey, we want to check the gun, we want to make sure there's no ammunition in it, hey, I want to check the gun, there's no ammunition, hey, I want to check the gun, there's no ammunition in it. And then we do a take, and Christopher Nolan doesn't tilt his head, but he's just like very still, chugging his coffee, eyes sunken into the back of his head, black, fucking, like, it's like looking at 2 black circles, It's like the moon eclipse, but on his face twice. So we do a take, and he's like, you know what, let's get, and then he adjusts quick. He's like, let's get the driver a hat, and then let's get this guy a flashlight. I go, okay, cool, great. So he comes over to me, and he just like kind of sizes me up. Doesn't say anything. Whispers to his first AD. First AD comes over and is like, hey, you ready? You have fun with this. It's gonna be good. This is the first time Cillian understands, that he's being tracked. make sure you reference your gun. We're gonna get a big IMAX shot of you wrapping around the camera, and then boom, you and Killian face off. And I go, oh shit, okay. So they hand me the flashlight. Then they re-hand me the gun because Armor took it in between takes. And then 3 people come up, like, want to make sure there's no ammunition. Are you safe? No ammunition. Are you safe? No ammunition. Are you safe? Okay. So we go. And the first one, I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna play this, whatever, play it's cool. So I go up, and I'm walking, and I'm taking down. I'm trying to juggle the flashlight and writing down the license plates for the FBI to take in who is and who is not a communist, supposedly at this communist party. So I'm trying to do that. So this is the flashlight. He goes, okay, cut. So then Mr. Student's AD, he comes over to me, he's like, yeah, we're just gonna fix the light. And I go, okay, we've been here for a while. Took 2 takes. I'm gonna go for it. So the next take comes, and 25, 30 yards away from me is a gigantic IMAX camera now mounted on a track. And the track goes on the street as if to take the same path that Cillian Murphy's car does, and then but then it wraps around 2 cars, and then it's like, and then we got a full shot of you is what they told me. I go, okay, great. So I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna have fun with this one. Huh? So then I'm writing, new piece of paper. I'm doing one of these, and like this is the flashlight, and the first AD yells action, speeding. Cut! I was like, pretty proud of myself because people were laughing, but they were also just like, oh no. Christopher Nolan was 20 yards away from me, 10 yards away from me. Now he's this far away from me. His eyes still black as the dark night. Comes over to me, places a hand on my shoulder. He goes, trying to be funny? And man, did I need a bidet then. Woo! Then he does this, then he goes, walks back, and I'm like, ooh, it's a fucking water park on my back, dude. You could have fucking slid right down. I'm shitting my pants, going crazy, and then we eventually got it. And then the next day, or not the next day, the next time I was on set, they we're in like a rally for Oppenheimer, and we had to do 3 takes. We had to do one, no, it was 2 takes. It was one with the camera going, with the dialogue, but the camera is so loud that we had to do one without a camera, and I'm like tracking him. So there's like, it's like a camera shot of me, and I'm talking to this girl who I think is a communist and taking notes, and then he walks by, and it's like a tracking shot in, and it was so weird to act without the camera looking at you, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? But anyhow, I hope I make it in. And if I don't, you guys can all share that movie experience with me on the 21st. And yeah, does anybody have any questions? Okay, good. Yeah, go ahead.
What's the coolest thing you've taken from the set?
Oh yeah, so on that day they had a pamphlet on communism from like the 1930s. And it's like, are you an alchemist? And then it was like all this communist propaganda, and I like definitely stole that. Yeah. I would have loved to fucking steal Forrest Whitaker's shirt. That would have been fucking great. The first time I was ever on TV, it was the first like big movie, honestly. Fuck. The first time I was ever on TV, I was a field producer for Fox 4 News in Cape Coral, Florida. I did that 2 summers in a row. Basically, I was just like, this is, what year is this? 2006, 2007. And I'm just like on the walkie-talkie talking to the home base. And there, we are every morning from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. just at a different location in Southwest Florida. Cape Coral is where I'm from. And so I'm the regular producer. And there's the camera guy, and then Wild Bill is the morning news guy that's like on location. It's like Wild Bill. You don't know what he's gonna do, but he's like this white guy with a huge nose, and he's really silly. And we happen to be those summers were like my first summers in college, so like I would go out to parties, get drunk, and then make sure I was at the location by 3 a.m., fall asleep in my car, and then the camera guy would just be like, hey, Peter, wake up, it's time. And I'm like, all right, cool. So that's like what I would do. So that's what I did. And I was never really dressed. Like I dressed for TV. I had I had cargo shorts and then a shirt from Abercrombie and Fitch that said "Got Crabs" with a crab on it, and like it was a little under the sea thing. But we were at a crab factory. So this is like one of the factories in Florida where they get, you know, like where restaurants go to purchase like big bulk crab meat. So Bill is, you know, going through it. 5 to 6 happens, 6 to 7 happens, and we're just doing like at the end of every hour. And then he's like, hey Peter, he's like, he'd gotten too wild. He got too wild, he's like tired, and he's like, you take this one. I'm like, okay. So we're at a crab facility. I've got a shirt that says "Got Crabs." I'm wearing cargo shorts, and they go, and I'm holding the microphone, and it says Fox 4, and I'm like, oh my God, this is it. This is my big moment. I'm psyched. Like, I want to be on television. This. Maybe I'll get a job here, or whatever. So I'm thinking all this, and then they count me in 4, 3, 2, and then I come around. There's a tiny little lady just like shucking crabs here with gloves on. Tiny little lady next to her. Then I come around, and my path was to just go around them, and then talk to one of them. You know, like hey, welcome. Like what was supposed to happen was like, hey, welcome back. We're at the crab factory right now. I'm going to talk to Rita. Hey, Rita, how's everything going? Blah blah. But what happens is, 4, 3, 2, hey, how's everybody doing out there? I'm with Rita. I'm at a crab factory and I grabbed my full crotch. Fuck! I couldn't believe it. And I didn't notice it either. You don't notice you're like, you got like weird tics when they're happening. And so then the camera guy, I see him, he's got the camera and he goes, we get back and I'm like, that was pretty good, right? And yeah, Bill was like, hey, great job. He's over there fucking already drinking. It's like 8:30 in the morning. Because his day's done at 10 a.m. as soon as he gets home. By the way, Bill was like, Bill was like, hey, every month Bill was like, hey, do you want to help me move furniture? He wasn't. I was 20, 21, and he was like a full man in his 40s. And he's not moving every month. He was trying to like get me to his place to fuck me. I'm like, damn, Bill, you are wild. We get back to the station, and we get back to the station, and Dave's the camera guy. Dave's like, come here, and they've got it on like these old tracks. Like not that this was forever, but it was like 2007 or whatever. But they're doing reel to reel, which is like very old technology. So it was kind of like a DJ spinning, so, and he's just like, Peter just like, and then he aired it on the feed inside of the fucking studio, and I couldn't believe it. And so everybody watched me grab my crotch. And I try my hardest not to grab my crotch when I'm nervous. I only do it when, something good's happening. Like sex. Let me tell you something. Some of you know me. Some of you know my material. Danny, by the way, Danny, can I have 2 beers, please? Does anybody need anything? Good. Yes, 2 waters and 2 waters, please. Give it up for Danny working hard right there. Yeah. So that was my first time on TV, and man, not touch wood. Maybe I'll be in a movie later this month. But I get this all the time. It's like, hey Peter, do you know who you look like? I go, fuck you. Hey, do you know who you look like? And I go, thank you, Dan. And the answer is always the same. It's like, hey, do you get this all the time? You look exactly like that guy from the Broken Lizard movies. I'm like, no. What? No. It's always like, hey, yes, question. Jimmy Fallon. That's it. Every time. Every time. Thank you. We finally got a question flooding in. Give it up for our first question. Yeah! What's your name? John. Thank you for asking that question. Or just making a statement, pretty much, yeah. If anybody wants to tell me what else I look like, yeah. You dress for the job you want, and today I want to be a hipster lumberjack. Everyone says, hey, you look like Jimmy Fallon. Oh, have you ever met him? Do you meet everybody that you look like? No. What? Is there a convention? That happened one time at the MTV Awards with Eminem. It's a ton of M&Ms. So anyhow, I met Jimmy Fallon one time. And my friend Julia, sweetheart, she went, we played soccer together. She was on the girls' soccer team growing up. I was on the boys' soccer team. And we never were really friends, but she went to Syracuse, and then she was a PA for Fallon, and she became an audience coordinator. And then she goes, hey, anytime you're in New York, come and check out the show. I go, absolutely, I'd love to. This was still late night. So I go, okay, I'll be there. So I get to New York, I'm by myself. You know, this is a few years ago when he was still doing late night with Jimmy Fallon before he got the Tonight Show. So I'm like, hey, do you have those tickets? I want to come today. She goes, that'd be awesome. This is the perfect time. How many people are with you? I go, just one. She goes, all right, fine. You're a loser, but cool. So I get there to 30 Rock, and she's like, all right, I'm going to give you a bracelet, wristband, and a ticket. And I go, great. So I sit there, check in my phone, you know, blah, blah, blah. And the guests that day were, obviously Jimmy Fallon was there. The musical guests was the Alabama Shakes, which is pretty cool, yeah. And Jeffrey Tambor was on the panel, as well as Charlie Sheen. And Charlie Sheen was just coming out with this show called Anger Management. So, you know, with TV shows that happen every day, you know, you just come up with like the idea that's happening, not the best idea, but an idea. So they're doing literal batting practice with actual baseballs and actual baseball bats inside the studio with a net. And because Charlie Sheen's show is called Anger Management, it's about an ex-baseball player that ends up, you know, becoming an anger management guy. So anyhow, Jeffrey Tambor does the intro just like he did in the Larry Sanders Show, if you know that show. It's really funny, everybody liked it. Before we knew, you know, what he was really doing. I think he was like, he had some sexual assault allegations against him. Pretty cool. So anyhow, he's doing that, it's great. Charlie Sheen comes up. And by myself, and the way that the late night rows are set up, there's like, you know, stacked red chairs, but the front row is just one chair. So we're at the top of the auditorium as they're about to, you know, seat everybody. And they go, how many were in your party? I go, it's just one. He goes, is it your birthday or something? And I go, no. And so he goes, all right, come on down here. And he seats me, and this is the alleyway, or the aisle, excuse me. Over here, 4 seats. Over here, 1 single seat. Then all of the cameras for the show, right? Crazy. So I'm in the front row, right next to camera 1 where he delivers his monologue. So I'm sitting there, Fallon comes out for the monologue, you know, Tambor, you know, it's like, you know, on the show tonight, you know, Alabama Shakes, you know, with the Roots, Charlie Sheen, yada yada. So then, I'm sat there, he comes out for the monologue, and like his spot is, it's not like a star or anything, it's a 4-leaf clover. So he gets on the 4-leaf clover and he's delivering his monologue. And then I'm like here, and he looks at me, and he's like, like unmistakably thrown. Unmistakably thrown. And I go, oh fuck. So then the segment comes with him and Charlie Sheen, they talk, then they do this batting practice thing. So they have real wooden baseball bats and real baseballs, and they're just like, hey, we're gonna play baseball in the studio with this giant net for batting practice. So they do this. And then afterwards, it's like boring. There's no game, they're just like, hey, can you hit this ball? Yeah, sure. So then afterwards, they're like, all right, we're gonna, you know, Jimmy Fallon tosses the break, like, oh, dude, that was so great, we're gonna see you after this. You know, whatever the fuck it is. As that happens, Charlie Sheen takes off his helmet, turns back to the crowd, walks up to the front row, and turns the handle up. This is like, you know, Wild Thing from Major League, right? You know? Hands me the baseball bat. I take it, I'm in the front row, I'm like, thank you, Charlie Sheen. That's awesome. And then, so now I have a baseball bat in the audience of Jimmy Fallon, and I look just like Jimmy Fallon. So some people are like, oh, is this a bit for the next segment? And some people are like, why is there a baseball bat here in the audience? So then they had to do like an affiliate commercial. So they need the baseball bat and the helmet and stuff back, and he kept the helmet, but then he goes, hey, I'm gonna need that back. And I go, I almost got this baseball bat from fucking Charlie Sheen on the Jimmy Fallon show. That'd be sick. So then So then I give him back the baseball bat, and it's, it's just like really cute, like buddy stuff. Like, hey, make sure you watch the Tonight Show tonight. I got Charlie Sheen here, blah, blah, blah. We're playing baseball, yeah. So that happens. Then he comes back around. He's like, hey, I want you to have this. And I'm like, for what? This is like, Tiger, this is post-Tiger Blood. This is like Charlie Sheen, and I'm just like, for what? And he goes, whatever you want. I go, there's a couple things you can do with a baseball bat. Anyhow, I get the baseball bat. Then security's hip, because they see Charlie Sheen come up to me twice and hand me a weapon twice. When Charlie Sheen does not hand weapons to people twice, so he does it to me twice like he needs me to have it. And so I'm just like sweating bullets, like what the fuck's happening here? Security comes up, taps me on the shoulder, is like, hey, you can't have a baseball bat here. Did you bring that? And like, and I was like, no, I was just given it. And he goes, well, I wasn't really watching. And I'm like, are you, what? You weren't really watching? I guess it was like one of those situations where like, if you're a security guard at a sporting event, you would turn your back to the play, and you're just like making sure nobody does anything crazy. Then this guy gets sloppy, turns around, sees me holding a baseball bat, smiling like an idiot. Takes the baseball bat, I'm bummed. Alabama Shakes perform, they were incredible. Then Julia's like, hey, like she's on the floor, like, looking up at me, I'm on the first row. She goes, hey, do you want to come backstage? I go, yeah, absolutely. So then I go backstage, and Julia's like, hey, we're just chilling, don't really, don't talk to anybody, but, I just wanted you to see this and make it a fun experience for you. I go, man, that's so cool, thank you so much, Julia. And we were not really, like, good friends, we never dated in school or anything. We did not bang, no. And so, though she did date a guy named Sean Murphy. No last names. Yeah, everyone's getting out of it tonight. So, thank you, Julia Abishon. So, she's like, hey, come and hang out in the hallways of 30 Rock. And I go, all right, cool, I don't have much to do, want to hang out, thank you so much. She's showing me pictures on the wall, this is early found. Showing me pictures on the wall, and then we're just kind of chatting and like, catching up a little bit because we didn't get a chance to talk. Then, I find myself in a circle with, you're gonna have to forgive me, because they don't all look the same, but there were at least 2 members of the Roots there. And it's Questlove and the Roots, But like I knew there were 2 of the Roots guys. And there were a lot at that time. So it's me, Julia, Jimmy Fallon, Questlove, 2 of the Roots. Me, Julia, Jimmy Fallon, Questlove, 2 of the Roots. Playing the circle game, like, hey, what are you guys doing later? Just like what like we're in a parking lot, like, hey, what do you guys think? What are you guys up to? What are you doing? What are you doing? Just like very boring, nothing conversation. And anytime someone's talking, Jimmy Fallon's like, because everyone tells me I look like Jimmy Fallon. Nobody tells Jimmy Fallon he looks like Peter Murphy. So he's kind of like, looking for money? He's giving me that look like, trying to get money out of me or what? And it's like, he can't help but be friendly and inviting, but at the same time he's like, what's this motherfucker doing? So anyhow, very boring conversation. I wish I remembered what it was. I was just incredibly nervous because I wanted to make a good impression in front of Jimmy Fallon, and I didn't want to humiliate Julia, who had given me a free ticket to the show, which was awesome. So the circle disbands. Fallon walks past me, and as he does, he brings me in close. He's like, hey, nice to meet you. He goes, hey, but do you have a big dick? And I go, what? And then he smacks me on the ass. Smacks me on the ass. It's like, take it easy. And I go, oh my God. And Julia's like, what did he say to you? And I'm like, I don't think I can tell you. I have no idea. And then he kind of looked back like, you're handsome. Yeah, we're both pretty handsome here. Oh gosh. A lot of my stories are like me almost doing stuff or like ruining stuff. One time in high school I worked at this ice cream place called Brewster's. Does anyone remember their first job? Do you remember your first job?
Yeah.
First job. What was it?
I worked as a swim instructor.
Swim instructor. That's awesome. For like little kids and stuff?
Yeah, at the Rose Bowl.
Did you lose any?
No.
Okay, good. Successful. At the Rose Bowl.
At the Rose Bowl.
So there's a pool in the Rose Bowl, you didn't just fill it
It's
up?
the Aquatic Center.
Aquatic Center, okay,
Yeah, right
great.
there.
And you're just making sure these little kids. Yeah.
I'm teaching them how to swim.
That'd be cool if they found the Rose Bowl. That'd be pretty sweet. My first job in high school, I worked at Brewster's Ice Cream, and they were dumb enough to make me assistant manager, gave me a key. So anytime we're partying in high school, I'm like, let's go to Brewster's. Everybody gets a spoon. We go in the back door. The cameras aren't on. We're just eating out of barrels of ice cream. Eating out of barrels of ice cream. So this happened, for the 2.5 years that I worked there. And this one time, I never really took the job seriously. Like if I worked the cashier, if I knew you, if I ever had seen you at a movie or something like that, you're in for free. Like you can come here, have whatever you want for free. Take a sheet cake, So I answered the phone at the beginning of my shift one Thursday, and I usually worked like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I was off Sunday, but I switched this week with somebody else on my team. There was a lot of religious people there, which was strange. And anyhow, so I was gonna work on that Sunday. So I answered the phone, I'm like, hey, how's it going? Welcome to Brewster, or thanks for calling Brewster's. And one said, hey, my son has a birthday party this Sunday. Can you make an Oreo ice cream cake for us? I go, yeah, Oreo ice cream cake, no problem. That's like our number one selling cake. What's the name? Blah, 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 I write it down. And then I forget about it. I get distracted because like either what would happen on a regular Friday night is like a girl I was interested in would come in with the guy she's dating, or like one time a friend dressed up as Sasquatch, and like he was dancing around, and then my friend Matt, who's the only guy that had an iPod in town of my friends, he would like come in, plug it in, and we would just like blare Michael Jackson music, just like blast it. And next to us was an Edible Arrangements and a Subway, and a Blockbuster. Holy shit, yeah. How old am I? So what happens is I just lose that note. Then I'm working Sunday, and this woman comes in. She's like, "Hey, I'm here to pick up my son's birthday cake." And I go, "Oh my god!" I think to myself, "Oh my god, I fucked this up." Luckily, Oreo's our best birthday cake, our best selling cake. So I'm like, "Oh well, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and check in the freezer, the cake freezer? That's where the cake would be." And I know the cake's not going to be there, but I'm hoping there's a spare Oreo cake. So then she goes there. She goes, "Oh, I haven't seen Oreo cake. You know what? Let me check in the back." So I go to the back and I'm like, "Fuck! Can I just leave? Can I just run out of the store right now?" So I go back to the front and I go, "You know what, ma'am? We don't have that Oreo cake. Would you like another cake on the house? Just giving away. Like you're my friend now. you came in here. You're my friend now. You're gonna get something free. Everyone's gonna leave here tonight with an Oreo cake." So she comes in, and she's like, I really would like an Oreo cake. There's nothing else you really have. You have like strawberry, and then you have like turtle, which is like a caramel chocolate thing. And I go, "Well, that's pretty good." She goes, "I talked to Peter on the phone. Where is my son's birthday cake?" And I go, "Oh, Peter got fired yesterday." We didn't have name tags or anything. She goes, "Oh, that is terrible." I go, "Ma'am, let me give you a barrel of ice cream." So I'm like, "You can have all the Oreo ice cream that we have." And she was pissed, and she's like, "You know what? Whatever." She goes, "What's your name?" And I go, "Piper." My name's Piper. Nice to meet you finally. I was lucky enough to play soccer in college, and when you're a freshman, you don't really play. Yeah, no, hair. Close one. We got a lot of good hair in this room. Gotta fix it every once in a while. I played soccer in college, and I was really fortunate too. But I was playing goalkeeper, and I was a soccer player. But I was goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper is the only position on the field that you only need one of them. If you're a midfielder, you can play defense maybe, or maybe you can play forward, or mix things up. If you're a goalkeeper, they only need one goalkeeper, and that's the guy that uses their hands. So I go and I decide to play Division I soccer at Birmingham Southern College in Alabama. No other reason to be in Alabama at all. Maybe driving through, get some Jim and Nick's barbecue, maybe get some Milo's sweet tea, whatever. So I'm like, all right, this is the best offer that I have to play sports in college. I'm gonna do it. So I get there, and first thing that happens is there are 2 fifth-year seniors in front of me. And like the goal is 8 feet high by 8 yards wide, so 24 feet wide. 8 feet high. And I'm me. I'm like, 5'11", 6 feet. And depending on what dating site I'm on. And so the fifth-year seniors that are also goalkeepers, the 2 goalkeepers in front of me are fifth-year seniors. So it means they're like 22, 23. I'm 17, 18. And they're both 6'4", 260 pounds, massive dudes that like were just too pussy to play linebacker. But they look tough as shit. And so they're in front of me in the pecking order of who's gonna play goalkeeper. And so I had nothing to do. Like on these games, I'm the third string goalkeeper. There's nothing for me to do. It's like being a third string quarterback essentially. A lot of terrible things have to happen before I play. So I did my best in practice, but then we were playing this game and our number 1 goalkeeper breaks his leg in half, snaps his leg. He's 6'4", built like crazy, but always skipped leg day. He looked like the Tasmanian devil on top, but like Roadrunner on the bottom. You know what I mean? So snaps a leg, and like what I mean by snap a leg is his knee went the other way, like a flamingo. Yeah, terrible. He's not coming back from that. So boom, I'm bumped up to 2nd. Great day for me. Sorry, Joe. Joe, by the way, would later go on, and you should look this up. One of the best beards I've ever seen in my life. But would later go on to play in the MLS, Major League Soccer, and he holds the record for the fastest red card in Major League Soccer history. 24 seconds. 24 seconds into a soccer game, he gets a red card. It happened, he was playing for the Colorado Rapids, happened right here in Los Angeles. The game starts, Colorado has the Galaxy have the ball, they dribble into the box. The ball is crossed across the 6-yard box. The ball gets somehow behind him, and instead of trying to go for the ball, he grabs the player's leg and like rips it so he can't so he went to go kick the ball, and then Joe's on the ground on his belly, just grabbing it. Guy flops over, red card, boom, crazy. Anyhow, that's his claim to fame. That's his 15 minutes or 24 seconds. 24 seconds of fame. So Joe's hurt, now it's me and Joseph. Joseph, the 2 big fucking white guys named Joe. He's like, all right, you're gonna be Joe, you're gonna be Joseph, great. And I'm rooming with Joseph's brother, who's also a freshman at the time. So what would happen is this coach, his name is Preston Goldfarb, and he was this like big, like fat, he looked like Mr. Eggman, the Sonic the Hedgehog character, like villain. He was bald, he had like a big mustache, and he was always like bright red. But he was like so fucking round. Like his belly was like the consistency of a bowling ball. Like when you like hit your belly, it's kind of like that deflated football sound. If you've been eating a lot. His was just like this is my tummy. This is his tummy. Yeah, are these real bricks? So anyhow, he's solid. You don't want to mess with him. So he's like fucking with Joseph. Joseph's a huge guy. Preston Goldfarb, maybe 5'10". On his tippy toes, and he's like, Joseph, you suck, you're a little bitch, you're a little girl, like, where'd you learn how to play goalkeeper? And this big fucking 6'4", 260-pound guy is like crying. Like, he's got tears in his eyes. I'm like, Jesus Christ. 2 games go by, and then we're losing 3-2, and then my job in the whole entire season as the 3rd string, now the 2nd string, my job doesn't change, I'm just there to be a warm body, And I don't even get to sit on the bench. I'm just like standing the whole time. And that's kind of like my workout. I'll do some like squats a little bit. But my job is to make sure that the water is filled and the Gatorade bottles are filled from from the big water cooler. You might see at the end of the game like somebody get dunked with that or something like that. But like I fill up the small water bottles so that if there's injury or break in the game, I can like throw them out there. And that was my big moment. It's like, oh, someone's hurt. That's great. Here, and I just like, whew, watch this. It was like lawn darts or like bocce ball or something. So then, I'm at the end of the line, at the end of the bench, and I'm like filling up these like Gatorade bottles, twisting them, make sure I'm doing a good job. And then we're losing 3-2. Maybe there's 30 minutes left in the game, and I hear from Goldfarb. He's like, God damn it, what the fuck are you doing? Just like cursing him out, like just spitting and like kicking dirt. And he goes, and I'm down here just like filling out the Gatorades. And he goes, Murphy! I go, he goes, get ready! And I look over and I go, for what? Everyone's like, oh my God, you fucking And I go, and he goes, yeah, get in the game! And I'm like, fuck, oh shit. So he's gonna replace the goalkeeper in the middle of the game for no reason, not injury, he just fucking hates this guy's guts. So I go to the corner with one of the assistant coaches, I put my gloves on, I jump to the right, I jump to the left, I'm like, all right, I'm in the microwave, I'm warmed up enough, let's go. I get in there, we ended up tying the game 3-3, and then I never got the hate that Joseph got, because I just never let it get to me. But Joseph's brother fucking roomed with me, and he fucking hated me. To the point where like I couldn't stay there anymore because I had taken his starting position. So I ended up dating this girl named Jessica Fontenot. Oh boy. I was a freshman, she was a junior. That's pretty cool. I mean, and she had just dated a soccer guy that had graduated. And this is what happened with Jessica Fontenot. She's beautiful. 5'11", skinny, brown hair, from Alabama. No one's perfect. She dated a German exchange player that was on the soccer team. And beautiful guy. Like, you know, I mean, how can I describe it? Like I'd seen pictures of him, he was like all muscly, looked like Thor, huge dick. All the pictures I saw of him naked. So she dated this guy, and they were getting really serious. They dated for almost 2 years, and he knew he was graduating. So what he did was he catfished her. This is like, I don't know, 2006, 2007. So he catfished her, and he created a bunch of these like fake Facebook accounts, and was messaging her like, hey, you want to meet up? Hey, you want to meet up? Like, hey, let's whatever. And she would always like take it to like a friend level, like, no, but you can come to this party or whatever, and never like took the bait. Then eventually one day, this German guy, he goes, hey, you passed the test. You didn't want to cheat on me with any of these other guys. And she goes, fuck you. I'm out. Boom. Just that's how she would drop a guy like that, because she's got like a million, like the most. To say that she was the most beautiful person in Alabama, that's not saying much. But she did have all her teeth. So Jessica's like, hey, do you want to come out? It's like, man, I'm fresh meat, great. This is around Halloween. So I'm like, anything to get out of my apartment, or out of my like little dorm room or whatever. So then we go, she's like, I'm gonna bring you out in Alabama, I'm gonna show you Birmingham. I go, okay, great. So we go out, we go to this gay bar with her friend Mark, and I'm like, it was my first gay bar experience, I'm just like, whatever. And like she knew the bouncer, so he was like, this guy? And she's like, yeah, he's cool. Didn't even check her IDs. I go, okay, great. So we get in, and like, you know, there's some dancing, and like, I wasn't even dressed as anything. I just had like a silly, goofy shirt on or something. So we're dancing, and then Mark's like, oh, Peter, you want to do a shot? And I go, yeah. So we take a couple shots. And then we go to this other bar, and then we go to a house party, and she's like, you know what? We get to this house party, she's like, you know what? I'm kind of tired. Do you wanna come back to my place? I'm like, yeah, who's coming? And she gives me this look like, I don't know. So we get back to her place. We took like a cab there, and we get back, and I'm like, oh wow, this is nice. She's got an off-campus apartment, awesome, balling. She's got a dog, amazing, cool. She's got one bedroom, sweet, a door to slam, whatever. She's got a bathroom to herself. Shit, I'm like 18. Remember, I'm 18. This is my first time ever being over at like a woman's place or girl, like, you know. And she's 22, 23. So I'm like, this is a woman, you know. So she's like, hey, let me go to the bathroom. Make yourself comfortable. Typical hookup thing to say. Typical hookup thing to say. And I go, all right, great. Okay, cool. She's in the bathroom, and I'm like, okay, cool. What am I gonna do? I'm just gonna make myself comfortable. So I see her dog, and her dog looks comfortable on the couch, and I go, hey buddy, how you doing? He tries to bite me. Great. No luck with dogs. I have 0 luck with dogs. Tries to bite me. I go, okay, great. You stay there. That's your spot. Great. You're good. Then I turn to the bedroom. I'm like, all right, great. I'm going to the bedroom here, and I see she's one of these girls that's got like a ton of pillows, like way too many pillows, like enough pillows for her entire apartment. And they're pretty much like laid out like it's like on like a padded like mattress, like you know, on top of her bed. She's got so many pillows that she's got like a king size bed, but only like this much bed is showing. So I like sit there, and she's like, you know, taking her time. I'm trying not to listen because like, I don't know, I'm trying to fart too, but I sit there, and I'm like, all right, make myself comfortable. And then the dog's out there. I'm like, great. So then I see a bunch of these pillows and I see some blankets. So then I'm like, you know what? That's her dog's bed. Her dog's gonna be in the living room. So then I take some of the pillows, put them on the ground, take a couple of the blankets, put them on the ground, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll sleep there. That's great, that's comfortable, that's cool. So then I'm like, let me test this out. So she comes out, I'm on the ground. And she goes, what are you doing? I'm like, oh yeah, I can just crash right here if that's cool. And she looks at me like, She calls up her friend Mark that we've been taking shots with, hanging out with, going to gay bars with. She goes, Mark, Peter is so funny. So then I get up and I'm like, yeah, how? Funny how? And then she's like, she's like whispers something to Mark, then she hangs up and she turns around and she goes, all right, well, get ready. And I go, for what? And that was literally my first college hug. My first college hug. I would go on to do some crazy ass shit. I ended up moving to Orlando to go to school there after my grandfather passed away, and then I had to have shoulder surgery, so I no longer played soccer. Tore my labrum, my rotator cuff, and my bicep. Labrum, not my labia. Common misconception, different parts of the body. And so no more soccer for me. But I moved to Orlando, and after about a year, I had two friends living with me, and then like a freshman. And we were like, hey, the Kanye West album came out, 808s and Heartbreak, and it was like, that one song was like Love Lockdown, so we were like, we're gonna have a Love Lockdown party. Like, what is that, Peter? I go, we're gonna make it up. So we get on Facebook, and we're like, a lot of Facebook stuff here. We didn't really have Instagram, and it was past AIM, never really MySpace. So anyhow, create this event. We're gonna have a Love Lockdown party. What's a Love Lockdown party? That's where you find a date around. This was around Thanksgiving, or not Thanksgiving, not Halloween. It was Valentine's Day. But you can find love on those holidays too. Whatever works for you. So this is Valentine's Day, Love Lockdown party. I think it must have been 2008. And these are the rules. You gotta come with a date, and you gotta be handcuffed to each other. And the key has to be at the bottom of a bottle of liquor. And you have to drink your way out. This is on a college campus in Orlando, Florida. We're like, what's the worst that could happen? My date is this girl named Alex, and oh my God, I was in love with Alex. I was lovely with Alex. Beautiful person, so funny, the best singing voice you've ever heard in your life, the best singing voice you've ever heard in your life. But she was like, fuck it, she smoked like half a pack of cigarettes a day. She's like, whatever. And she's like, it doesn't really affect my voice. Cut to now. She talks like this. And she's legitimately got 6 kids. I follow her on Instagram. She's got 6 kids. Great, good for her, whatever. But, that's that. Also, on Instagram, she will post publicly that one of her middle children bullies her. And she's like, how do you talk to a child, your child that's bullying you? And I'm like, ooh, mute. No, thank you. So anyhow, me and Alex are dating, or she's my date. We're handcuffed to each other. What do we have? Sailor Jerry rum. Oh. Obviously, yeah. Why not? Because I was the only one with a fake ID at the time. I bought Stoli vodka for other people. Oh God, what else? A lot of plastic was there that night. I'll say that. A lot of plastic bottles were there that night. So what we lived in a place called the Lofts, and it was in each apartment. It was 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and each bedroom was connected, by the bathroom. So one bathroom upstairs, 1 bathroom downstairs, 2 bedrooms upstairs, 2 bedrooms downstairs. And there was stairs not unlike these stairs, but they spiraled around into like a little secondary quiet loft area. And so we were drinking, and I was like, oh, I could probably drink this whole bottle by myself. And she was like, no, you're not. Boom. 10 minutes later, we finished our bottle first.
Oh God.
And she's like, then we're in the loft area, and she goes, all done, and then throws the bottle off the balcony. I'm like, we need that. The key's in there, babe. We start walking down the stairs, and then she says she tripped, But I think, because she was like leading the way, she said she tripped, but it felt more like a, get over here. And so we're like falling down the stairs, and then like, we're drunk, we're like on like a fucking roller coaster. I'm, got like a knot on my head from hitting my head against the wall. And then like we start making out. Then 30 minutes later, Mark's bedroom, one of my roommates, Mark's bedroom is closed. He's hooking up with a girl. This guy is Shorty. His real name is Alberto, but he goes by the name Shorty. He's from Miami. Anything you need, you go to this guy, right? His profession now is actor / real estate agent / oh God, what is he? He owns like a coffee shop. And like, he'll do anything. He'll get anything for you in Miami. So then he's like, I'm walking by with Alex on the bottom floor with the bathroom there, and I walk by, and he's like, "What the fuck, Peter?" Because he's he's like a sophomore, and his date was like a freshman, and she's like clutching the toilet, and they lost their bottle, so he's like still handcuffed to her. He's like, "What the fuck, man? This is fucked up." Our furniture is broken, and by that I mean my other roommate, Troy, who's in a fraternity, this is his freshman year, he built a love seat out of Bud Light cans. Somebody broke it. There's some love locked down that night. It was pretty crazy. What time is it, Mo?
We're looking at 9:32.
Okay, great. I'm gonna, oh gosh. Yeah,
are
what's
we
up?
allowed to open the doors?
Let's open the door in like 10 minutes. Let me tell you about, I gotta tell you this story. Are there any sports fans here? Is anybody a sports fan? Yeah, sports fans. Nice. Danny, the bartender. Danny, what sports do you love? What do you love?
Steelers.
The Steelers, football. Yeah. Unfortunately, in Florida, we don't have professional football in Orlando. We have the Miami Dolphins, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But we do have basketball. And in Orlando, we take a lot of pride in our basketball. This was the years that I was living there was the Dwight Howard years. We made it to the finals. That was awesome. And also, I didn't go to UCF, but I went to Valencia, which was the community college next to UCF, before I decided I was finished. I didn't graduate, I just decided I was finished. So I'm going to Valencia, and I'm working on this new media show, which is like a streaming show called Orlando Live. And I would interview artists and musicians once a week in front of the City Arts Factory, which was like the big arts and culture hub in downtown Orlando. So UCF approaches me and they're like, "Hey, we know you're not a student, but we want you to host the Talented Nights competition." I go, "Absolutely, let's do it." And they go, "We're not gonna pay you." And I go, fuck. Whatever. Prepared me for a lifetime of Los Angeles gigs. So they're like, "Hey, we want you to do this, it'd be great. Big auditorium, the basketball auditorium's gonna be full, and it's gonna be the talent competition for UCF." And I go, "Great." So it's months of planning, and then we're in the writer's room, we're writing, and I meet one of the producers, this girl named Audrey. And Audrey is really nice, she's much older than me. She had gotten married, then decided to come back to school. She's maybe 24, 25. And I don't know, I think I was 21. But when someone's 25 and you're 21, that's a big gap. It seemed like a big gap. I'm like, she's mature. Now 25-year-olds it's like, "Hey, you want to go to a Love Lockdown party?" So Audrey's one of my lead producers, and I go, "Hey, this show's coming up. Let me know if you need anything. I'm willing to work outside of these hours or whatever." And so then St. Patrick's Day's coming up, and she messages me, texts me. She goes, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow? St. Patrick's Day." I go, "Hey, I'm thinking about going to the Magic game. They're playing the Spurs." And she goes, "On St. Patrick's Day?" I go, "Yeah, I've never been. I want to check it out." And she goes, "Well, I'll go with you." And I go, "Well, I only have 2 tickets. I bought them off of Craigslist, so they might not be real. And also, I don't have a ticket for your husband." She goes, "He's out of town." We know where this is going. About to get my love locked down. So she goes, "He's out of town." And I go, "Great." And she doesn't tell me his name, but I later find out his name is Jason. And whoa. So I go to pick her up, we drive downtown, park, walk to the first bar hopping, blah, 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 all the way down to, at the time, it was Amway Arena, now it's called Amway Center, different buildings. But this one was built in 1988 specifically for the Orlando Predators and the Orlando Magic. In 1988, architecture is all at least what they were doing in Florida was all solid concrete. Like it's not as cool as like a SoFi Stadium. There's no like steel or titanium or like something fun to look at. It's like a block. But it's Florida, so it's a little kooky. So what I find is we're taking shots, drinking at St. Patrick's Day, we get crazy. You know, we're wearing blue, but you know, we're wearing like green necklaces as well. It turns out, as I'm talking to her, her family owns property that is now known as College Park, which is a very, it's like the second or third richest area in Orlando, which is like, I don't know, here it would be like Mexico, you know. Like Florida's really cheap, but that was a big deal for her. So anyhow, her family owns all this land in like a really nice part of Orlando. So she's telling me this, I'm like, great, we get to our seats. She goes, these are great seats, they're in the lower bowl. I go, yeah, you know, I kind of wanted to impress her, but you know, I didn't know what was going on. She goes, hey, follow me. And I go, okay. So she starts walking down the aisle, and she's walking down the stairs to the court, and I go, oh shit, okay. Look confident. This is post Jessica Fontenot. This is post Love Dog Down Party. This is Peter just like, I'm gonna just agree to whatever this woman says. She's like, follow me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna go down to the court. And I don't want to say anything stupid, so I don't say anything at all. Which is a good dating tip. So I'm walking down the aisle behind her, and she looks back and she goes, just look confident. I go, okay. And she's like, close your eyes. And I go, okay. And she goes, open them. All right. And then they're like normal size. So she goes up to the security guard, she points, and then she points at me, and he goes, all right, right over there. We go through the tunnel to the players' tunnel on the other side of the court. The game is happening. It's the second quarter. I'm like, walking around like, game, right? So she's like, follow me. So we go to the tunnel, take a left, go up these stairs, and then there's another spiral staircase, and then a wooden door. God, this wooden door looks like it was from like the 50s. It's like, it was a scary like wood door, where everything else was like really nice and painted. This like, for some reason this door was like very thin wood. She opens it up, there's a bar, and you can't see any of the game at this bar. And like you have no view of the court. The TVs aren't even playing the game. There's a TV in the corner, a small TV that's playing the game, but it's like a square box TV that's in the corner that like, you know, it's not like a flat screen TV like you might have today if you're rich, put one in your kitchen or something like that. So I'm like, where the fuck are we? So she gets lost immediately, and I like go to the bar and I'm gonna order a drink, and like there are nameplates on the bar for like people's seats. And so I'm looking, and just like some like crazy, like fancy names like Jeffrey or Fitzgerald. Like, I don't know, like the names seemed really impressive because they were on a plaque. I look to my left. This guy goes, hey, you're new. I go, yeah, how's it going? I'm Peter. He goes, I'm also Peter. I go, yeah, I came here with my friend. He goes, my great-grandfather is the inventor of Play-Doh. This is my name plaque. You want to sit here? And I go, what? That is like the most random thing ever. And I think he's fucking with me. So I'm like, yeah, whatever, man. You want to buy a drink? Like, I have no friends in this situation. Audrey's gone doing something. And when you're in a place where you know nobody, everyone's your friend. Even your enemies are your friend. You know, somebody that I hate. If I saw them and I was in a situation where I didn't know anybody, I would go up and talk to them. You know what I mean? So like this guy throws me a lifeline. I'm talking to him. And, you know, he's talking about jet skiing and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, cool. And I'm trying not to sound stupid, trying not to be crazy. Audrey shows up, and he ended up buying me drinks. And she goes, hey, you're going to talk to this guy in a little bit. And I go, okay, great. So this owner of the Orlando Magic comes up, or like executive, and he gives me 5 tickets. And I go, he goes, these are for your friends. I go, okay, cool, thanks. I look at the tickets. There's no aisle, there's no row, there's no section. They're just blank tickets with a barcode on them to get in. And I'm like, okay, great. And then Audrey comes over, grabs them. Then she comes in with 5 of her girlfriends. And like, you know, they were beautiful, you know, right? Beautiful woman. Comes over, and we're hanging out with the Play-Doh guy or whatever. And he like looks back, he's like, oh, you got some good friends. He turns to the bartender, and I still think he's fucking me. It's St. Patrick's Day, remember? He turns to the bartender and he goes, hey, let's get some Lucky Charms. And she goes, the cereal? He goes, yeah, I want a cereal, Lucky Charms cereal. And I'm like, man, you are an asshole. Rich people are assholes. But then, less than a second later, she goes down, goes to the bar, boom, unopened box of Lucky Charms right there. He opens it, pours it out in an unused ashtray, then he's picking out the marshmallows and like he's picking out the marshmallows and putting them aside. And he goes back to these 6 women, Audrey and her 5 friends, and God, what did he even say? Sudden, like, you know when you're about to black out, just like everything's happening at once, like you're in a tornado, you know what I mean? Like clocks are running by you, like with the time, like newspapers are coming by, running around, like you feel like, you know, everything's happening all at once. Suddenly, these women took their tops down and he was eating the marshmallows off of their nipples. The great-grandson of the Play-Doh inventor was eating marshmallows off of these 6 women's nipples inside this, like, unnamed bar inside the Orlando Magic Arena. And I'm like, holy shit. And Audrey's like, are you gonna play? And I go, play? Sure. So I indulge, whatever, and then we're doing that for a little bit. More shots happen. We get a cab back to her place, and I'm like, all right. You know, because Jessica Fontenot was not that long ago. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play this cool. She's married, probably gonna meet her husband. Her husband's probably gonna be there. She's like, you can crash at my place. I go, thank you so much. And she goes, we have a guest room. I go, great. So we go in to the guest room, and in this room is literally 3 shelves, bang, of simply unopened, like, action figures. And I'm like, oh, her husband's a total nerd. And that's all this room is, just like 4 walls of action figures, 1, 2, 3 shelves. I'm like, holy shit, it's great. So she comes in the room, and she's like, do you want anything? I'm like, I like fell asleep. I fell asleep, like right there, like blacked out, finally. Like all the excitement and all the sugar from like the marshmallows and the shots finally got to me. I finally passed out. She comes into my room the next day, and I go, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play this cool. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm not trying to break up any marriages. She comes in, and she starts to rub my back, and I go, okay. She goes, do you want to say something? I go, I think, you know, you'd be in a lot of trouble if you weren't married right now. Pretty good line. Pretty good line. Yeah. And she goes, who's to say I'm not? And I go, ah! Inside, but on the inside I was like, whatever. And then she leans in to kiss me, and we ended up having sex in front of an arena of action figures from her husband, which was fucking crazy. Then she later tells me that she got married because her family forced her to, and then she tells me that she's going back to school so she can get out of this marriage. And then I go, okay, great. And then her husband calls me. His name's Jason, and he goes, I'm gonna fucking kill you, and I'm gonna cut your dick off. And I go, and then he goes, get ready. All right, thank you guys for coming out. Thanks for being my friends. I appreciate y'all coming out here tonight. We had a good time. Any questions to end it? Any questions? Yes.
Did he ever find you?
Jason, did Jason ever find me? I went to their house because I was trying to save her. I was literally trying to save her, but it turned out she was lying to me and not being like domestically abused, and he was like gonna kill me, like legit, and she had to like delete my number from her phone. I was like, fuck. But anyhow, did I meet him face to face? No, but I saw him from the yard to his house. Nearly died. But you know what? We made it here. Made it here tonight. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Danny,
I got a question.
Hit me with it, Mo.
All right. Can we redo the intro where you came in? We had a little audio
Like how?
difficulties. You know?
Sure.
Okay.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Just come on in. I'm gonna introduce you, and then mention the guy that fixes his hair, but make it look spontaneous. You know, you're like, hey, you got a question? But
How about this? Okay.
What?
Can the stage hold all these people, or is that too much weight?
Yeah.
It's too much weight.
No, we got it in the back.
All right, let's all get up on stage. Everybody, Danny, Gabrielle, come on stage. Everybody get on stage, and then Mo's gonna do the intro again.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
And then we got whoever's got a phone, we're gonna take a selfie. Yes, get on stage. Everyone, go. Play the music. I'll play the music.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Now
it's
me
Peter
to reintroduce myself.
Murphy.
My name is Ho, H to the OV. I used to own snowflakes by the OZ. I can't see the back
take a picture of everyone. Mo, get up here. There you go. Great. Fix your hair, Mo. No, you gotta take a selfie. You gotta be in it.
There's no way. It's impossible.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No, we can't set it up.
All right.
Nah.
No? Who's got it? Get in.
Get in, Avery.
Oh yeah, Jude.
Flip your phone around and use your phone.
There you go.
And you can stand up on that.
Oh yes, chair.
I'm old.
Do we want somebody else to take it?
Yeah.
No,
I'll
Do
just
you
take
want-
it.
Okay, good. Oh.
No,
Sure.
don't take it, you little
Sure.
fucking-
Get everybody in here.
No, I don't like this at all.
I can do it. It's happening. No, I got it.
So bad. Bad face. Get over here. I'll do this.
No, no,
Give
I
me
got
your
it.
phone. Go in there.
What am I doing
You
wrong?
gotta take a selfie, Avery.
Yeah,
Get in it.
yeah.
Gotta be in it.
You gotta
There you
be
go.
in
That's
it,
it.
you
There you
fucking
go. Avery's
idiot.
creative.
Alright.
Don't
so,
fall.
how do we...
Flip it around.
Oh my god. Guys,
Guys.
that's perfect.
That's exactly what we want.
There we go. Get in. Yeah.
There's so many people.
Oh, my hat!
Great. Perfect.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want none of my faces in.
Thank you all for coming out. Hang out with Danny at the bar. Y'all are free to hang. Yeah, we're gonna grab a drink at the bar right here.
That's not what I did! I didn't do that. Yeah, you did. Delete that. I didn't do that. This one, dude. That's not my move, is it? Let's try not to do that one.
People in a small space like
Feel bad.
Put on your eardrum.
Here's the thing,
Let me know.
Thanks for coming out, dude. Appreciate you guys coming out.
So his podcast is probably very, you know, successful. You guys have a good thing along.